I mean, so just to show that walking in the Spirit is walking in a state of mind is because fear is the hindrance of faith. We see that testimony given over and over throughout the Gospels. It's fear that hinders our faith. And I mean, that fear entered in when Adam and Eve ate of the tree. And that's why Paul was constantly in 1 Corinthians chapter 2, what he said, we've not been given the spirit of the world again, which is the spirit of bondage. He says, but the Spirit which is of God, that we may know the things freely given to us of God. And then in Romans chapter 8, he says, we've been not given, in verse 15, we've been not given the spirit of bondage again to fear, but the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. I mean, when we're born again of water and the Spirit, in water baptism, not only are we born of Jesus, because that's where it's planted in death, that's where it's given life, as Paul said in 1 Corinthians 15:36, the body we sow isn't given life unless it dies. I mean, this is where it dies. This is where we planted into the likeness of Jesus' death. That's why we must be born of water and the Spirit. One of the reasons, because also in water baptism is where the blood is applied to us and our sin is taken away. I mean, there's so much happening in water baptism. I mean, that people just overlook it. They don't see the revelation of the mystery of the gospel. As Paul says to Timothy in 1 Timothy 3:7, some are ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth, you know. But Jesus promised in John 8:31-36, if you're truly my disciples, you'll continue in my word, in my sayings. And if you do, you will know the truth, and the truth will make you free. The Jews thought he was talking about servitude to man, but Jesus said, he who commits sin is the servant of sin, and a servant doesn't abide in the house forever, but a son does. You know, it's been translated the son, but it's making a contrast between a servant and a child. But he says, whoever the son shall make free shall be free indeed. And this is what he's getting at in Galatians 4 when he says in there, as long as he's a child, differs nothing from a servant, though he be Lord of all, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of the Father, talking about our relationship with the law. He says, likewise, when we were children, were in bondage under the elements of the world until the fullness of time came, when God sent forth his Son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem us who were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. And therefore you're a son and no longer a servant. Amen.